All right, we are joined by Walter Emanuel Jones, the original Black Power Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, played the role of Zack Taylor. Thank you I'm so excited about this interview. Thank you so much for giving us some of your time today. You're here for a very special reason tomorrow.
Yes.
Big event happening over at Colony Center at Heroes Hideout. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I'm here to see the fans. So Heroes Hideout is a great spot, and came down to Albany. I've never been here. And
welcome.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to meeting all the fans tomorrow. It's going to be a great time. I'm going to be there from 1 to 4 or so.
1 to 4, signing autographs.
Last fan standing. And,
It has, I can't believe I'm saying this, 30 years.
30, and I'm only 29, so that's
Of course, you haven't aged one day. 30 years since the original series came out, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So it's in celebration of that, but also this new Netflix special that just came out. That you're basically like the star lead, and I watched it with my kids like the other day.
You have kids?
Yes, I have 2 kids. Thank you. You're too kind. But it's such a wonderful movie to watch. It had the right amount of nostalgia and that campy humor that we all love for Power Rangers. What was it like being back in the role of Zack Taylor and putting on the suit again, the command center, all of it?
Well, I have to say that Zack Taylor has never left me, because anywhere I go in the world, people are like, "Hey, Zack." I'm like, you must be talking to me. So, I mean, it's stayed with me the whole time over the last 30 years. Every day I get recognized at least once or twice. But going back and being in the command center, being in the juice bar is very nostalgic. It was like, you know, if you go back to your elementary school and you walk through the hallways, you're like, everything looks so much smaller now. You know, that kind of thing. But very surreal, and it actually, I had the opportunity to have some closure, so that was really nice. Yeah,
you talked about the closure. I was going to bring that up later, but let's talk about it now. Okay. It was really a beautiful tribute to Trini's character, played by Thuy Trang, who we lost in 2001, very, very early on, and then last year, also the loss of Jason David Frank. And in this movie, you were able to bring that closure to the fans. How important was that to kind of weave into the storyline?
It was very important. I thought it was, well, first off, I haven't been on the show in 28 years. So to go back after 28 years and be on the show, I didn't want it to be something simple that was like me taking off the helmet and going, "Hey, I'm back," kind of thing. I just wanted it to be something that I could really sink my teeth into, and I felt like I was able to give Zack a life beyond what he was 28 years ago, and you know, celebrate the existence of this Ranger in this Ranger world for 30 years. So.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, it was very well done. And it's such a heavy topic, but obviously it's a movie for kids too, because you want the kids to enjoy it. And so it sort of struck the right balance there.
The way I feel about life in general, the way I live my life is I try to live in positivity. And so, and the way I see it is I am grateful that we had them for the time that we did, that the world was able to be affected by their energy and by their grace. And so I'm grateful for that. The fact that we have lost them at this point, the way I see things is everything that begins ends, and that's just a fact of life.
Beautifully said. I love that. We saw in this show you met for the first time. It was you and the other Black Ranger, Johnny Young Bosch, on the screen together at the same time. He took over for you after you had left the show, and the fans know exactly why all that happened. How was that dynamic, being on the screen with him? And while we're on that topic, how's the dynamic with the rest of the cast? Like, did you keep in touch with them? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we all grew up kind of together, and but at this point, we've all grown much older. We have our families, and everybody's moved to different cities. So we see each other at Comic-Cons. We talk occasionally. Working with Johnny Young Bosch was great. I love him. He's a great guy. I've known him since he got on the show. He came to a party at my house after he was cast, and we got along, and we've continued to get along over the years. So it was great to be on screen with him, to be able to share some energy with him. I remember the director. In the scene, we're on 2 separate sides, and we're saying goodbye to them. And the director said, "How do you feel about it?" I said, "My character would be I would touch them. I would touch everybody. I would go over and give everybody some love. And so I was able to go and then say goodbye to Karen Ashley, who I'd never worked with, and then to go over and shake hands with Johnny Young Bosch. And I think it was important because I wanted the fans to know that there's no animosity between us. We're all on a team and we're all working together. Yeah,
well, that teamwork paid off. It showed on screen, and it came off really well. Let's talk about some of the fight scenes in this movie. Okay. There's a lot of physicality there. Yeah. A, were you doing your own stunts? And B, how did you stay in fighting shape? I mean, I feel like you have not, I'm not saying this, it seems like you have not aged one bit.
Well, what I like to say is Zack don't crack. It's a thing, right? Like, that's the thing. When I found out I was going back to the show, I went to the gym. I mean, I've maintained my shape. Yeah. I dance salsa. That's one of the ways I stay fit. And
gotcha.
I went to the gym, started working out and stretching and working my martial arts and skills. And so I did my own stunts. And
nice.
That backflip, I did it. That was me. I'm like, I haven't done that in a number of years. But,
how did that feel?
It was kind of wild. I was like, I got this. I mean, we had time to rehearse.
Right.
But to be in the moment and on camera, it all just came right back.
Like, you still got it.
I did that jump, split kick, and I practiced it in rehearsals, but often when I did it, because I didn't want to injure myself, when I was practicing it, I would just do this to say, that was the double kick, right? And then when we did it on the set, I jumped, and I was like, oh, I am head height. I still got the hops, so it was good.
You do. It was great to see, and there weren't really cutaways, so we knew like it was definitely you.
Yeah, right.
Going back to the 30 years, I think I had to be 7 in '93 when the show came out, and now 30 years later, I've got 2 kids of my own, and I'm watching the show with them. The original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. There's been obviously different iterations of it. They enjoy it as much as I do. They're like glued to the screen. What do you think is the enduring appeal of Power Rangers that makes everybody love this show?
You know what? Power Rangers itself taught a lot of kids valuable lessons about how to grow up and what kind of person to be. I think the combination of hip-hop and dinosaurs and superheroes and teenagers with attitude, I think that all contributed to how well the show did. I like to think that, like, if I throw a rock in the water, it creates these ripples. Well, this show created these positive ripples around the world in 40 countries and over 80 languages. And I'm just so grateful that I was able to be part of that, and that's part of my legacy.
I know you've done a lot more than Power Rangers. Yes. I feel like you've pretty much been on every 90s hit show, and then beyond that too. I know you were a Star Trek fan and were in that fan franchise as well, doing a short film for Star Trek.
Yes.
What other work do you want people to know that you've been working on? And also, do you ever get sick of just, I guess, being associated with Zack Taylor? Because obviously that's your most iconic role.
Right. I have no problem with people identifying me as Zack. I'm proud of it. I'm proud that I was a role model for millions of kids around the world. In fact, I was the first black superhero on live action TV. So to have been a face that people could relate to and go, I could be just as powerful as that. I'm happy to have been that motivation. I didn't have that when I was a kid. I mean, I think the first face I remember watching on TV that looked like me was Buckwheat, and that was like, he was a great character, but he wasn't somebody I wanted to be.
Gotcha. It's huge, yeah. You definitely are a role model for so many kids and adults. It's amazing what you've done as a part of the franchise. Let me ask you this, is there more of the story to tell?
We will have to wait and see. I don't know. I think if the fans want to see more, I think they just gotta let Hasbro know, let Netflix know they want to see more, and we'll see what happens.
Oh, we definitely want to see more.
Yes.
Remind us again tomorrow when people can see you.
Heroes Hideout 1 to 4 will be there, or Last Fan Standing. If there's a lot of people there, then we'll be there until we see every single fan.
You are so nice. One last thing. I know you have so many talents, from dancing to gymnastics to the martial arts, and you did your own little what do you call it, hip Hip hop keto.
Hip hop keto. It's my own form of martial arts.
Can you leave the fans with a little something for the news?
Like...
Yes. Thank you so much.
Can I say I also have a music project coming out?
Tell us about it.
It's I just released my first song. It's on Spotify, iTunes, so forth and so on. It's under the name Trey Emanuel. It's because my dad's name was Walter Emanuel. I am Walter Emanuel. My son's name is Honor Emanuel. So that's 3 Emanuels, and Emmanuel means God with us. So Trey Emanuel. That's my music project, and I've released my first song. More to come. I got 6-song EP.
We will go check it out.
Please do.
Thank you so much. Walter Jones, everybody. You can see him Saturday at Heroes Hideout over at Colony Center. We thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.